Very good.
Okay.
All right, we're good. Hello, everybody. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to another segment of Awareness Wednesday Prime Time. We're your hosts, Reggie and Victoria Flanagan. So welcome, everybody. We truly appreciate you joining us this evening. And today's topic is going to be a great one. I can tell you that one. Maybe a little tearjerker, but we'll see what happens as we get through the report that Mrs. Victoria Flanagan, my queen, whom I call my better 7/8, had put together for all of us. All right, so we are connected on Facebook as well as Zoom. So again, welcome everybody. So before I get started, let me pass this over to Victoria and give her reasons why this platform is important to her. And yes, please do continue to share out the link to get more on and connected to this one. All right, Victoria, take it away.
Good evening, family. Good evening. Good evening. Yes. Yes, you still have time to send out. Hair in my mouth. Still got time to send it out. And this platform here is just a serious one this week. I just had an emotional week and I just had to share it. And it went very well this morning. So we just really decided just to do it again. So that's where we are with this. We gotta stay abreast, family. Gotta stay abreast.
Absolutely. She's absolutely right on that as well. Definitely got to stay abreast. Just let me just check something really quickly, everybody.
Yeah, it's not recorded.
Just want to make sure we're recording on one end. I want to make sure we are recording on the other. Just give me a quick second, please. To double check where we are. Yeah, it was. It stopped. Let me just make sure we're good on Facebook. Right, there we go. Preparing. All right, I think we're good now. We're good on Facebook. All right, again, sorry about that, everybody. There we go. All right, so let me just do our disclaimer because, doing a platform that we do on Awareness Wednesday, we do have a disclaimer. We want to make sure that we cover ourselves as well as you as listeners and understanding reason why these disclaimers are so important when you're doing health or wellness platforms. So let me read it as follows. The Power Couple of Health. This program offers health and nutritional information and is designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on this information as a substitute for, nor does it replace professional, medical, or psychological advice, diagnosis, or treatment. None of the statements made have been reviewed or approved by the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. We're going to be speaking, we may speak on some products today as well.
Yeah, we are.
There we go. Excellent. So we do have a disclaimer for our products. The products haven't been evaluated by the FDA. They're not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent diseases. All I do know is that the products that we have and we speak about every single week are absolutely phenomenal, absolutely awesome by our opinion. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to pass this over to Victoria, who's going to go over a report today. And our subject, we are in this line together. When you see that header, it says life and death. We're all in that line. We all are in that line. You can't avoid it. You hear me say this every single week that we all have an expiration date, but we can't control that. We all have that time, right? But this is an important topic. And Victoria came across this, from her experience over the past week or two that she went through, and she's going to share that with you all. And that's what sparked this platform this evening, as well as the one she did this morning. All right. So with that being said, you can take some notes. Let's go into our topic, which is serving God with healthy mind, body, and spirit. And our scripture, beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. 3 John 1 and 2. Certified health coach, trainer, Miss Victoria Flanagan will give information on this subject at hand. Again, we're in this line, life and death. Pay attention, take some notes. More importantly, let's be cordial and understand that this is a very important topic. Victoria, take it away.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure working with him.
Yeah.
And we don't want this to sound morbid.
Not
we
at
don't
all.
want this
Not at
to
all.
sound just crazy. But this is just something that we all have to go through. And it was a very touching, very moving experience this morning. And I got through it without crying until the very end. Somebody came on and said something, and then the tears just started to flow. But that's just me. I'm an emotional creature like that. But this topic here is something that we all gonna have to deal with. And just the ironicness of all of this, even after the segment was over this morning, and then I laid across the couch and I watched Tamron Hall and she had Malcolm Jamal Warner mother on, and she was talking about his death. And then they had a grief counselor that was on there as well, talking about his book. So you just see how everything just plays together. Everything just truly, truly played together. So I went on with my week last week, and that's where this whole topic came from, was just the week that I had last week. I went to a funeral on Tuesday. It was a friend of Reggie's, his wife's grandmother. And I got the program here. Beautiful program, absolutely beautiful program. And she was well known. She was a backup singer for Luther Vandross, and she was into her art. She was into her African wear. It was an African funeral, and it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And they were just sitting, and the pastor was talking about time. You know, time is non-refundable. Certain time we don't get back. You shouldn't let people waste your time. And he was really going into that. And then from that funeral, we went to another funeral on Friday. There's two funerals in one day, a Tuesday and then Friday. I mean, Saturday. The one on Saturday was Reggie's barber. And he grew up with this guy in the barbershop. And that's what I was really going over this morning, that how people stood up at the service and they were talking about that camaraderie feeling of that manhood, and that, you know, that mentorship that people had in the barbershop itself. So that's where we came from with that. Yeah, this was his program, and the program was just put together so beautifully.
Yes, it was.
It just was. And then they had all his pictures on the inside. It was just a beautiful program.
I love the way they did this.
All together. It was really,
Showed him
really
as a
nice.
child,
And then showed
and
him.
then showed him where he is now.
It was beautiful. And it was an eye-opening experience. And
Yeah.
I always look at funerals like it's a wake-up call. You know, it's a time for you to get about doing about your business, get about
Correct.
living, and get out there and do what God put here for you to do. So that's why I did just pull this together, because I couldn't sleep that Saturday night. And that Sunday night, I couldn't sleep. So I was stuff running in my head. So I said, Reg, I got to get up and write stuff down. So that's where it started. So it says life and death. We're all in this together. And I was saying, don't let the funeral director plan your next family reunion.
Absolutely.
Because that's the only time family would
Come
really
together.
get to see each other, they come together, is at a funeral. And it shouldn't be that way. It truly should not be that way. So 2 funerals in a week was just a lot to take on emotionally. You know, your emotions are all over the place. So that was funeral on Saturday, the barbershop. Then we went to a barbecue after
At his brother's house.
at his brother's house. The 2 remaining barbers that was left, it was 3 of them in the shop, right? So we went to the other one's house. He gave a barbecue at the house, and was more fellowship, and they were still talking about, you know, the little kids that would come in the shop, and he would put them to work and give them a job to sweep up hair, you know, give them a couple of dollars or give them some chips or something. But they always found the barbershop to be a safe place. You know, where they can go and hang out. And you know your kids are in good hands if they're in the barbershop with these guys. So that's just what we're missing nowadays. And I'm always saying that the younger generation should sit and talk to the elders, because we can still learn so much from our elders, because this generation needs all the help they can get at this point. So the barbershop was like a no judgment zone for the young men coming up. And Reggie was going to the barbershop since he was 10 years old, right?
Around 10 when I started going there. When I first met the older brother, Pancho, who the barbecue we went to after his younger brother's funeral. But when we first moved here, we've been living here since 1968, here on this block where we are now. The house I grew up in is about 3 doors down from here. And this one we purchased back in 93, 94. No, I'm sorry, 97. But just growing up in the neighborhood, that was, just kind of take you back in history. The area in which we live was predominantly Italian. And there was the one Black-owned barbershop on the avenue. And as a child, you don't really understand the power in that, but you learn as you grow up.
Different cultures.
Yeah. but to see somebody that looks like me that owns something, that owns something, that was taking care of young kids like myself as I'm growing up, and to see all other kids that were coming as a safe haven in this place, barbershop, just kids being dropped off, and parents go off to what they got to do and come back and pick them up later. But this
You don't
this is
do
how the
that
barbershop
these
was. You
days.
don't
You
have
can't
that
drop
these
your
days.
kids off anywhere.
No, you don't have that safety or security because when you drop them off there at the barbershop, they're being taken care of.
Right.
They're gonna be the way they were when you dropped them off, when you come to pick them up.
And the other thing that I was saying, you
Yeah.
never know who you're touching at any age.
Exactly.
There was a couple of young men that spoke at the service where
Yeah.
they just couldn't hold it back. They just broke down
Yeah.
in tears that the barbershop meant so much to them because they didn't have their father figures in their life, and they can turn into these guys at the barbershop and
Yeah.
ask them anything that they needed to ask. And that just meant so much
Yeah.
to the younger guys that was in the barbershop coming up. And
Correct.
some of them even said if it wasn't for the guys at the barbershop, they
Right.
wouldn't have turned out to be the men that they are.
Right.
So that made the other members from the barbershop feel really good. Like even Pancho said it at
Right,
the
at the
barbecues.
barbecue.
Like I had no idea that I was doing that, to the younger generation that was coming up. So that's why I just really pulled all of that together from the funeral, because I just get a look at things just totally different. And then if you look around at these services, they don't like to call them funerals anymore. They like to call it a
Celebration.
going home celebration. They turn it into a big celebration. So they really praised him at the service, and it was really, really moving. And that pastor over his service talked about time as well. He talked about he was leaning he was pointing to the casket, and he said, we're all going to have to get to that point one day. We're all going to meet here at some point. We're all in that line. So you don't know where you are in that line. So this is what I pulled off, and it's on my Facebook page if you want to pull that up. It's a line. People are in line, and they're going off into the sky. But the thing that was on there, he talked about time. So this is what I posted on my Facebook page. He said that we're all in the line. This is how the pastor talked about it too. He said, we're all in that line. He said, every minute someone leaves this world behind. We are all in the line without even knowing it. He said, we never know how many people are before us. We cannot move to the back of the line. You cannot step out of line.
Nope.
You cannot avoid the line. So while you're in that line, he said, make the moments count. Love up on the ones you want to love up on. Now, he said, make priorities. Make your priorities. Get your priorities in order. Make your gifts known. So many people are going to leave here and take their gifts with them.
Correct.
Dr. Miles Monroe talked about that. The graveyards are full of writers that never wrote their books, or the graveyard is full of poets and painters that never got their gifts off. So he said, whatever your gifts are, make your gifts known to the world. He said, and make a nobody feel like a somebody. Everybody can make somebody feel good. You really can. He said, make your voice heard. Whatever needs to be said, say it. Get your opinions across. Make the small things big. It might be small to you, it might be small to somebody else, but it could be something really big to somebody else. So he said, make the small things big. Make somebody smile.
Right.
That's a big one. Even Malcolm Jamal Warner on the Tamron Hall show, they said his last video that he did, and it just went viral. He was talking about, if you sit and think, everybody has something to smile about. And we need to do that more. We need to smile more. With everything that's going on in the world, it's kind of hard to smile or find the good in anything. But he said you have to do that. Learn to make somebody smile. Make people feel good. And I just added with your artist products. That's just me. Make people feel good with our artist products, because we have the best products on this side of heaven. And a lot of people don't even know that how blessed we are to be where we are, to have what we have. So that's why we're still in the company, 17 years, going strong, taking our products faithfully and feeling good about it. So, and looking good doing it too. If you look at any of these business partners of ours, their skin is just glowing. That's the products coming through and really taking care of yourself. So you want to make people feel good. Make the change that you're looking for. That was another one. He said, talk to, even the pastor talked about it. Don't look for change for others. You be the change. And even what's the name on Sundays talked about it. You look in the mirror. You be the change that you're looking for. Don't look for it someplace else. And I say happiness is an inside job. You got to find your happiness within you. Don't look for somebody else to make you happy. You have to find your own happiness. And then you get with somebody and he got his happiness and I got mine. We just putting our happiness together.
Correct.
And that's how you find a good relationship. The other thing he was saying, make up with your family and friends. The pastor talked about that. So many family members, so many family members are not talking. You got kids that's estranged from their parents. The parents are not talking to the kids. Somebody did something at such and such, such. And then you still don't see them until a funeral arises.
And you carry that chip year after
year after year after year. It's like you drinking the poison, waiting for them to die.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have to be that way. It just doesn't. You know, you got to brush things off. You got to make up that certain things. It was just childish. And if they leave here without you solving that, then you got to live with that. So he was just saying, let it go. Make up with your family and friends. Make peace. Make peace with anything that's not that you don't agree with. Just make peace with it and let it go.
He was also mentioning, and every time you go to a home celebration like that, a homegoing celebration, there's always a segment of expressions.
Right.
And acknowledgements. But expressions when when people want to come up and give their last words. He was saying that don't wait at that time. He was saying because he or she can't hear you now.
Exactly.
You want to tell them these things that you're feeling on your heart while they're living. They say, give you your flowers while you're living.
Right.
And that's what he meant by that. He actually expressed that. So those whom you're thinking about, especially your elders, your children, your mother, father, if you still have them, express to them now while they're here. Your feelings, let them know how you're feeling. Say I love you. Call them up and solve whatever issue you may have going on and crush all that.
Crush it, right.
So you can all live better and be better off later on. So when that time does happen, you won't feel that guilt or that pressure because you didn't do it. That's the main thing he spoke about.
He said, make sure you let them know that you appreciate them.
Exactly.
And even when he got sick, the barber got sick, and I told Reggie, go see him. Call his wife and make sure that you can get an appointment to see him because she got to fix him up. She took care of him to the end.
Sure did.
But
33 years.
33. They were married 33 years, and he had a massive stroke. And she took care of him for 5 years, I think it was.
Like that, yeah.
So I was telling Reggie, go see him. Just go see him before we went to Delaware, before our daughter's surgery. So Reggie went over, he called her, and she said you could come such and such Sunday. And you went with somebody.
Yeah, me and Derek went.
Right. And they went and they sat with him and they talked, they laughed a little bit, reminisced and did what they needed to do. But it was the point of just going to see him, like they were saying, show people their appreciation while they're here. So it just meant a lot. Then make sure to have no regrets at the end either. Make sure that you're ready for anything. Like the guy was talking about today. How do you know when you're ready? You don't know when you're ready. So there's some other things in the report that I'm going to go through. The pastor talked about humble yourself.
Right.
He talked about that. We have to stay humble. Don't get in a position where your head is so big and you think it's, everything is all about you. It's not all about you. I mean, we're all here for a reason. We all get the same 24 hours and we're going to just passing through. We're just passing through. So you got to do what the mission that God gave you to do. You have to do that. So humble yourself. Pray for the hearts of America. I just added that. We just need more prayer around the clock. We just have to get back to prayer. Get back to prayer because there's so much negativity going on in the world right now. We got to find a way to squash this or it's going to get worse before it gets better. But we got to We got to bring some of this in. It also says, finish what God called you to do. What is your calling here? That's what you need to get to at hand. They said the most important part of your obituary is the dash. It's not the day that you were born, and it's not the day that you left here. It's what you did with that dash. What did you do while you were here?
Right.
What does your dash mean? What is that going to mean once you're gone? You know, what are people going to say about you? Or if they're going to have anything good to say about you. So just finish what God called you to do. The other one says, stand against the enemies and walk in love and faith. And that's what we really have to do. Can't nothing squash all this hatred but love. That's the only way we're going to get some of the people to come back around. We, like Pastor Vanessa said this morning, we got to just love the hell out of them. That's just the bottom line. Start giving out those hugs. People are just so disconnected. It's crazy right now. It's really, the disconnect is just way past where it should be. The last one was just run your race. Run your race. Whatever your race is, just run your race. Everybody's race is totally different. You got to run your race. And we always say this together too. We have more days behind us than we have in front of us.
Think about it.
Seriously, think about that. We're 63. Are we going to get another 63 years? So how old are you? You got more time behind you than you have in front of you. Because she said this morning on the thing, he said, where did I write that down? He said, wait a minute. He said, oh, I wrote it down. Where is it? He said, you're here for dinner, but you could be gone by breakfast.
That's true. That's a fact.
You're here today, you could be gone tomorrow.
Yeah, you could be gone
That's
tonight.
just how fast things can.
Exactly.
He said it's 1,000 ways to die. It's 1,000 ways to leave here. And you can go just like that.
Exactly, you can.
Candy was telling her story this morning that she ate something with a lot of hot sauce on it, and it started to close up her throat. And she said it just scared her, just terrified her. So she rushed to the refrigerator and she got her shanty, and she liked the ice crystals in it, and she just drunk it down, and it just eased whatever that was in her throat. When you get that close to death where you can't catch your breath, your whole life flashed before your eyes, and you just don't know how you would react to anything. So that's what that's what we were saying. You got more days behind you than you got in front of you. And the thing it says, live your best life.
Exactly.
I'm always saying that. Whenever I'm walking in my park, live your best life. Because you only get one. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is it. So all of the pastors talked about time, the time that we have while we are here. Time is non-refundable. Then on Sunday, we got up and went to church, and our pastor talked about time. I said, how ironic is that? After 2 funerals, and then our pastor talks about time.
And he had a whole different message to give
on time.
On Sunday. He told us, he said something hit him, and he ended up changing his message
exactly
to what he spoke on Sunday about time.
So it was just something, right? Exactly. And it was just an awesome service. Our pastor James Johnson, he was just something else. And then right after service, we had a surprise birthday party for a church member of ours. And she was really surprised. She had no idea.
No idea.
You know, she had some family members that showed up, and she just thought they showed up out of the blue. Like, what are you doing here? It's like, good to see you in the whole 9 yards. And she had quite a few family members that showed up. So they kept her upstairs because she was collecting money for the event that's coming up. So when she came downstairs, they got her to come downstairs. She was totally blown away. It was her 80th birthday, and they surprised her with a birthday party. It was beautiful. It really was. Food was good fellowship, the whole nine yards. So that's where we were on Sunday. So then we came home for Sunday. We didn't have to cook because we ate at church. Right. So after we came home, we changed our clothes and we went and sat in the yard. Reggie did the yard on Sunday. He cut the grass. I love to just sit out there and watch him cut the grass because I just love to see men do manly things. And he cut the grass, and when he finish it, it always looks like carpet. The grass just looks like carpet, and I can just sit in the yard. I'm always in my yard, no shoes on, just hanging out in the backyard. So we were sitting there, and he finished the yard, and we sat down. He started a fire in the fire pit. So we were just sitting there, trying to get my mind right because I have to go in for the surgery on Monday. So I'm trying to decompress from the week that I had because my emotions was all over the place, and I'm a little nervous about my own procedure I have to go through and some other stuff that I was going through. And then we're sitting there and bam, man, Reggie said, I think somebody just hit your car. I said, hit my car parked right there. Reggie said, your car just got hit. The little fella next door, the young lady next door, she was just in a car accident a couple of weeks ago and banged up her car. Tow truck hit her car. She got hurt, got injured, chipped shoulder, and all of that. But her son came over, 16-year-old son, got in her truck, and he put the car in reverse, hit the fence, and the fence hit my car. So we're sitting there, and I got up and I looked at it, and I was like, I'm not getting upset about this. What's going to be, going to be. It's nothing I could do about it anyway. So Reggie got all her information. She said, oh, he's going to pay for it. He's going to pay for it, the whole 9 yards. But after we finished and we sat down, I said, thank God it went in reverse. Because if he would have hit the gas pedal, he could have killed the Spanish people that was right across
working on their car,
directly
in front of that vehicle,
directly in front of that truck. And I was like, what are the chances of that
think about that
happening, that we could have seen a tragedy sitting right there in our backyard? And I think they were working on his car, right?
Yeah.
Could have killed them if he would have went forward in the car. So that was just something else that we dealt with on Sunday. So that's what I had to put down in there. So the other thing that we was talking about are just getting up and getting ready for my procedure on Monday. I had to have a procedure on Monday, so we got up early, had to be at the hospital by 7:30. So we got up early about 7. We got to the hospital about 7. So the moral of this story is of unity. That's the whole moral of the story, is unity and bringing people together and how we all need each other.
Correct.
So when we got to the hospital, Claire, Mass, I got to fill out that, form.
The form, the triage.
So when I got there, the lady at the desk, she took my driver's license so they can match up to make sure they got the right person.
Right.
This is your appointment. So she was an older Caucasian lady. So she took my driver's license, and then the young lady that called me in the back to do the billing information, she was African American. I'm going somewhere with this family. So the African American lady, she took all my billing information so they could get paid for the procedure. So she gave me my bracelet,
which she's wearing right now.
Right. I keep it on so I remind myself not to lift anything. I'm still under doctor's care until I go and do my follow-up. So that's just a reminder for me. That's what I do. But anyway, so the other young lady that came down to take me upstairs to the triage room, she was Latino, short little Latino young girl.
Uh-huh.
So when I got upstairs, and then another person came in my room to take my blood pressure, she was Asian. See where I'm going here with family. She a little young lady. She was Asian, came and took my pressure.
Right.
Of course, my pressure was up. It was 194 over 70 something. So she came and took my pressure. She said, oh, that's kind of high. So that concerned me. My pressure always concerned me. So after she left out, the nurse came in and she went over everything. She went over the whole procedure of what they were going to do and put my clothes in the bag, and anything that God didn't give you, take it off and put it in the bag. So we went through all of that. So then the anesthesiologist came in, and he was a young African young man.
Doogie
and
Howser,
he was like a baby.
12 years old. I said, what are you, 12? I said,
that's a young little fella right next to me. I said, our grandson looked older than him, but he was 33 years old. He loved his profession. Loved his profession. He said he went through a lot of schooling. So that's when we just started questioning him, because I had a big question about the anesthesiologist. This was my biggest concern going in, was the anesthesiologist. And I'm always telling my artist family, my members, to ask questions. Question everything. So my primary doctor,
Listen to this now. Pay
my
attention.
primary doctor that I found the beginning of the year, my ex primary doctor, because I have moved on, she was saying that I'll never be able to have, well, I won't be able to have the surgery until I get my blood pressure down.
Top number down.
The top number down. So whenever I go into the doctor's office, my blood pressure always goes sky high. I have the white coat syndrome. I have to explain that every time I go to the doctor's, because it's really, really high when I go to the doctor's office. And I'm not the only one, because now even the doctor,
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of doctors are getting away from the white coats. They're putting on scrubs.
Of a neutral color.
Right. So when I went in her office, the first time she took my pressure, and this is no lie, family, it was 245 over 195. That was my pressure. She said, "How you feeling?" I said, "I'm feeling okay." She said, "You don't have a headache?" I said, "No, I don't have a headache. There was nothing going on."
I personally think it was the wrong cup they put on her.
And that's what I was getting ready to say as well. Whenever they do your blood pressure, family, always check the cup, because they have to go along with your
circumference of your arm.
Right. So the blood pressure cup that she used, it's a smaller cup. So the smaller the cup, of course, your pressure is going to be sky high. But by law, she should have never have let me leave that office with a pressure that high. So I was explaining to her that it was stress. I'm stressing because of the condition what I was there for. And you're telling me I'm not going to be able to have the surgery because my blood pressure is too high. So like, how long am I going to have to sit with this? It could be something serious, and you're not going to help me figure this thing out. So that was another indication. It's time to find another doctor. And that's exactly what I did. If a blood pressure was an issue, and every time I went to her, she gave me another medication. She gave me another medication for high blood pressure. I'm telling her my pressure is only high when I come into the office.
Checking it here?
Because I'm checking my pressure every day here. I even recorded it, wrote it down, the time that I took it, and took that recording to the doctor's office. She looked at it, she flipped it over, and she still wrote me another medication. I got about 6 high blood pressure medications in my room right now, but my pressure was not to that magnitude to be taking it at that time. So that's why I found another doctor. But the moral of that story is you got to take your own health into your own hands. So the anesthesiologist, I asked her, I said, the doctor was saying if your systolic number, that top number, is higher than 150, they won't be able to put you under.
And he said,
no,
that's not true.
He said, that's not true. I said, what?
And me and
Reggie was looking at each other, because that's what I was worried about.
Exactly.
So he said, no, that's not true. You still got to question everything, family. Take your health into your own hands. But he was saying that the what you call it, the oxygen that they give you is also going to lower your pressure a little bit.
It automatically does it.
Right.
They take the oxygen that they give before they give her the what's it called? The stuff that puts you under.
What did I say that was? Propofol?
Yeah, propofol. I think that's what they call it.
Well, that was
one of them.
Was using to sleep.
The one they're using, to put you under. But that's the one. So the oxygen that they give you, the reason why they give you the oxygen is to take all the nitrates or something out of your lungs. So you have nothing but oxygen in your lungs.
Right.
He said that procedure alone is going to help to dilate your blood vessels, which is going to lower your pressure anyway, which it did. What was it when you came out?
It came out, it was
like 102. It was really low.
117 over something.
Very low.
Right.
So the fact is, he was right. And the doctor that told her was wrong.
Right.
She could have got the procedure done months ago.
And that was I started this whole quest in January. And I'm just getting the procedure done this past Monday. So that just lets you know the duration.
And the stress she had to go through.
Exactly.
Because nobody's telling her any answers.
And I wasn't getting any answers from anywhere. So I just kept digging and digging and digging and digging. But he made me feel so comfortable after that. because I was telling Reggie, people go in for little minor surgeries and they don't come out.
Right.
You know, people will go under and they don't come out from under the anesthesia. That's the most important job that's in there in the hospital, is that the person that's ministering that anesthesia.
Right.
So he was very, very comforted
Very.
in that procedure, and he made me feel comforted that he's going to be walking, he's going to be with me in the room, and everything is going to be just fine. So that just worked out so well. And he was a young African American man. So the next thing, I said he was 33 years old, explained everything to me, made me feel comfortable, and he answered all my questions. Then it was another African American woman that came back and bought me another blanket. That was something else that bought me another blanket. So, and then my doctor is from Guyana. My doctor, Dr. Norma Ray, love her to pieces. My doctor is from Guyana. So everybody that came through that curtain, that was the first thing I said when I got back downstairs to Reggie.
Melting pot.
Even in recovery, the girl that woke me up and bought me
She Filipino?
She was Korean.
Korean.
She bought me a turkey sandwich and some tea, because you know you can't eat anything before the surgery. And she was a young Korean girl. Then there was another African American woman that came and wheeled me in the wheelchair and wheeled me to the car. So the moral of the story is that everybody in that hospital, it was a melting pot. It's every nationality doing their job, and everybody was represented in that hospital. I was thoroughly pleased, thoroughly impressed about the whole procedure. They made you feel comfortable. They asked you all of your questions. It was thorough questions. And it was really, really good. And then Reggie, and we were asking all kind of questions, but that's what I was saying. Question everything, family. Question everything. And just know that we need each other. Unity is it. So we came home. First thing I did when I got home was wash my hands and took a scoop of shield and put up under my tongue, because I do my shield leaving the house and coming back in. I put some shield up under my tongue. Then I got a large cup of water and I just went and got in the bed and rested. And then later on that day, I got up and I made a Nutri-Shake, a blueberry Nutri-Shake, and then just got back in the bed and rested. But we got to live our best life, family. And we're all here together. We're all coming together. If you cut anybody, everybody's going to bleed. It's just that we're more alike than we are different.
Correct.
We are truly more alike than we are different. So the hospital is full of every nationality, and we're just stronger together. So you got to put your differences aside and love up on each other. And I got all that in the report, because death is final. It's final. You're not going to know if you needed an organ transplant. You're not going to not take the organ because it came from somebody that's from a different nationality. You're just going to take that organ because you want to live. So you just got to do that. I say get into a good church. Start reading your Bible. Your Bible is basic instructions before leaving earth. Get into a good Bible. It's time. The time is now. Everybody talked about the time, but the time is now to know the Lord for yourself. Because if you don't get right with the Lord, you're going to get left, for real.
And he said that on Sunday.
He said that on Sunday. So all this rhetoric that's going on, all this hatred that's being spewed, and I said it's going to get worse before it gets better, because you got the holidays coming up. You got the Jewish holidays coming up next week and going into October. It's going to get bad before it gets good. But we got to find our peace in all of this.
Exactly.
Don't make it any worse than it already has to be.
Take care of your house.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other thing I wanted to share was, this is on my Facebook page as well. It's called the No Life Insurance Wheel. Mm-hmm. The No Life Insurance Wheel. Get you some life insurance, family, because you never know when you're going to need it. There's so many commercials on TV about life insurance. And I was telling them that you're a licensed agent. If you don't know about life insurance, give Reggie a call. He can walk you through all of that and get you a policy. But there's, it says no money for a funeral. Some people don't even have money to bury somebody for a funeral.
And let me stop right
and
here.
They have to do a GoFundMe page.
Right.
But that you got to think about this for a minute.
And here's one of the main reasons why, because people don't think it will ever happen to them
Exactly.
until it happens. And then it's too late.
Right.
And that's the mindset of more than 90% of the people. They never think it would happen to them or their loved one or a family member. They don't think it will happen to them. And when it happens, the woulda, coulda, shouldas. We should have done that. We should have done this. You got to start thinking right now. If you're living and walking this planet and you don't have insurance on yourself or your children, you're doing yourself a disservice. You must do that today, because the times we're living in, they say tomorrow's not promised. It's not about tomorrow. Today ain't promised.
Exactly.
Anything can happen. You could be the healthiest person in the world and collapse. You never know when that date is going to be your time.
And
but you want to be prepared.
Exactly. And I was saying this morning that people have insurance on everything else. You got insurance on your phone, on your car,
your home,
but you don't have insurance on yourself or your children.
Does that make any sense at all?
And the way that these children are being trafficked and the children are being missing, and it's so much going on with the children, you got to just be ready.
Yep.
So the no life insurance will. The other one was family members can't afford to travel for the funeral. That's why some funerals are, they could die today, or they can't even do the funeral until maybe a week later, because they got to wait for family members to get the money to come in.
Right.
So you got to look at things like that too. Then it says family forced to cremate your remains for financial reasons.
Correct.
A lot of people are getting cremated because funerals are very, very expensive. They
sure are.
Very expensive.
$10,000+.
10,000 plus, exactly. So some people are opting for cremation. The next one is there's no grief counseling for devastating family members. That's something else too. There's grief counseling for some. Some people need that. No money to cover the lost wages, because if that person was the main breadwinner and now they're not working, where's the money? The money stops at that point. So you got to have some type of backup. And the next one, it says family members have to go back to work before they're even ready.
Right.
You don't even have time to grieve the loss, because you got to get back to work. It's like business as usual. You got to get up and get right back to what you were doing. And then the last one was family must repay the debts out of their own money. Then that's something big too. You don't want to leave too many debts for your family members to take up, because that's a lot. I know what they say, you can't get blood out of a turnip, or you can't, if they're not here, they can't pay the bills. But somebody's going to come for their money. Now, like I was saying before, that was this morning. Now, this afternoon, I sat and laid across the couch and watched Tamron Hall, the talk show. And she had on Malcolm Jamal Warner's mother on there. We know we just lost him in July to a drowning. That's Theo Huxtable from the Cosby Show. And she said it was a sudden death. It was a sudden death. And you're never ready for death. Period. But a sudden death, you're really not ready for. A long health battle, you're not ready for that either. You know that they're sick and it's prolonged, but you still never know when that date is coming. So grief comes in waves. They talked about that. They had a grief counselor on there. He's David Kessler, and he has a book, Finding Meaning in the Death. But he said grief comes in waves. And he said it's not about the closure, but the connection that you had with that person. And that just made so much sense to me. He said you could be here for dinner, but gone by breakfast, which is so true. And he talks about that you could be here today and gone tomorrow, because we just don't know. We have to meet people where they are in that shock of a funeral. You can't just go in, because she was saying that she had friends that just flew in and wanted to be with her. And she said that's not what she needed at the time, because she didn't really have time to mourn the funeral to mourn him like that. But she said, I got work to do. His legacy still has to live and still has to go on. So she really hasn't had the time to really sit and go over that. But he said, you just really have to meet people where they are. And he's a grief counselor because he lost his 21-year-old son to a drug overdose. And he said, even as a grief counselor, that brought him to his knees. Because like Reggie just said, you never know when it's going to happen to you. You just don't. You don't think that that's going to come knocking at your door.
You don't.
But he said the death rate is 100%. Everybody will experience it at some point. Even Tamron said that it doesn't matter where you are in your life, everybody in this room is going to have to experience a death at some point. He said, whether it's 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years, you still want to hear and say their names. And I made a post about that during the 9/11 in the park. I was walking in the park and I said, I walk for people who can't walk. But during the 9/11, why do they do that every year? Because people want that, they need that connection, and they need to hear their family members' names.
I forgot.
They never had closure for 9/11 because there weren't any bodies to bury. So it seems like, it seems like they're just, out in the clouds, and you're still waiting for that person to come through the door, and they're not coming through the door. So he said that's why it's so important to hear their names. He said no feelings are final during a funeral. It could come up at any time. You can be sitting somewhere and you can smell a loved one, or you can get a remembrance of a loved one, or butterfly. Mine is butterflies in the yard. I think that's my mom comes back for butterflies. I've seen butterflies. I'm thinking of my mom, but it comes back as coins and feathers and things like that. So they're always around you. And he was saying that each of us do it differently. Nobody mourns the same. They just don't. Different relationships with that particular person. And grief is the love. He said, meaning is what happens after death, who we become later. He said, grief is so unique. And this part that really stood out. He said, a part of you dies with them, but also a part of them lives in us. So, and my daughter say that all the time. You just do some things like your mother. You just like your mother. And it comes across that way. It really does come across that way. So at some point, like he said, everybody is going to have to come to that a realization at some point. And that just hit me when doing the 2 funerals this past week. And that's not the first time I've done 2 funerals in a week. It's just folks are leaving here. They're truly leaving here. So if you got loved ones around, you better love up on them, because you just don't know. And with the holidays coming, it gets really, really hard for some, because that person is not across from the table anymore.
Or they pass around that time.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's going to be different. And I just say that's the season is coming up on the most depression, the most anxiety, the most stress. It's coming. This just the season. Fall is upon us. And that's when it really kicks in. You're not hanging out, you're indoors now, and you got those comfort foods around you. It's just a lot. So that was the moral of the story, is that we're all in this together. Every nationality, we need each other. You can't look at anybody any different. We're even more alike than we are different. We need each other. We need to love up on each other. You need to get right with the Lord. That's just a given. Spread more love that's out there. And I'm going to just say, take your artist products so you can be as healthy as you possibly can. Because it's so important, family, to truly take care of yourself. Because even in the hospital, even when I was in the hospital, they were saying, I looked at your labs, all your labs are good. Everybody's labs aren't good. And they're in there for a reason. And Reggie said when they wheeled me in and he went back to the waiting room, it wasn't even nowhere to sit.
It wasn't. That's how full it was.
That's how many people are showing up in the hospitals. So we got to do better. We got something here that can keep people out of these hospital rooms. I mean, things are going to happen. You could be in the best shape and stuff can still happen. But we got to take care of ourselves. We truly have to take better care of ourselves.
And the key word is selves, because you live in this body. You live in here.
Absolutely.
So you got to take care of it.
And take care of the ones around you.
Exactly
so
right.
We just have some awesome products here at Artists. I'm just going to talk about everything that we got. We got a ultra body cleanse, a detox, the flush. Now that the seasons are changing, it's going to be time to detox in a minute. Get your ultra body cleanse and flush out all this summer stuff you done had, all them hot dogs and hamburgers off the grill, and get all that stuff out of your season, out of your system. Then we have our red, our green, and our yellow. These are our three essentials. You got your high antioxidants. You got your green for your vegetables and herbs. You got your your yellow Lviv as a multivitamin. So we got to get all of that in there. Your pure noni, if you're having any pain, that was the product I took when I got back to the house too. I was taking my
Right.
pure noni to the head. No pain. I didn't have any pain. No,
Which
no
is great.
bleeding. Any of
And
any
the
of that.
pressure is normal.
My pressure is normal.
No more stress
No
now.
more stress now. And the labs aren't even back yet, so we still don't know what the results were. But that's another testimony coming
Right.
up down the line. But the pure noni I took and my coral calcium so I could get some sleep. I haven't slept practically the whole summer. A really good night's sleep because during the beginning of the summer, our daughter had her hip
surgery.
replacement, and then the youngest daughter came home for the summer a couple of weeks with 3 babies. We ain't had 3 babies in this house, and I don't know how long, and they was all over the place. So that's enough to run your pressure up. And then just having an illness and not knowing what it is or getting the answers that you're looking for, it can be very, very stressful. So take care of yourselves, family, and take your artist products. Our omega-3, 6, and 9, these are your fish oils. Everybody needs a fish oil from head to toe. It's a lubricant for your body. Everybody needs supplements because they're messing with our food. When our food is not food anymore, it's
Frankenfood.
It's frankenfood, food-like substances. So we got to take a supplement. So a memory fusion is another one loaded with your vitamin B12. The NutriShake, I got my NutriShake in there because I didn't have an appetite. Still don't really have an appetite, but we got a NutriShake. You can still get your meal in there, getting your vitamins and minerals that your body is asking for. Then our Shanty is back.
Yes,
That's
it
one of
is.
Reggie's favorites. A Shanty is back. And then we have our coffees. We have some excellent coffees. And even if they're not eating, you could just have a cup of coffee. A cup of coffee can be very relaxing and warm, and you can have a good conversation over
Absolutely, you
good
can.
coffee. We got a 7-in-1
Yep.
coffee with all the mushrooms for
Mushrooms.
your brains and all of that. We got a weight loss coffee to support your weight. We have a collagen coffee to support your skin. We got green 29, that's a fiber and a good probiotic. So we have what you're looking for. We just have to get it out to the masses. We have to continue to take care of ourselves. This one here, his little allergies is trying to flare up because the weather is
It's
changing.
changing, yeah.
You got today is a little drizzly outside and the temperature dropped. Tomorrow the temperature going back up to 80. The weather's just all over the place. So another reason to take your products. And eat well, family. Eat a good, well-balanced meal. Get your fruits and your vegetables in there. Drink your water. Get a good night's sleep. I was telling them this morning the best investment we ever made was that adjustable bed we got in there. In that bed and raise that. It's like the bed just hugs you like a
Potato
big
chip.
hug. But I love that bed. So invest in a good mattress and get you try the adjustable bed. But truly, truly, truly take care of yourselves, family. It's the only body we have to live in. So once you go to a funeral, these things just have a way of waking you up.
And they
And
do.
then if you look around at the funeral and
You
you
said
see
it.
the elderly, you see the
Right.
young, you see, and you sitting there like he was saying, well, who's next? You know, who's next? And then you sit there, it's like, how big is my funeral going to be? Who's going to be there? That one.
Right.
Who's going to do that?
What's your dash gonna look like?
Exactly. And then they had a young lady on, what was it, Instagram, a grandmother on Instagram.
Oh yeah, they did our own obituary.
obituary
Our own program.
done up from the pallbearers, what the
she
picture
wanted.
she want on the front of her program.
She had it all
She
done.
had it all laid out. I'm not saying you got to go that far to be that morbid or anything, but she know what she want and how she want it.
She
And some
did it
people
before she did it before she died.
right, and some people who are sick, they do put things in motion so the families don't have to go through all that. So that's just something else to take into consideration. You don't have to put all that burden on your family. So that's what I wanted to share, family. Just the emotional week that I had, the ups, the downs, the scares, the fears, it was just a lot this past week. So that's what I wanted to share with my family. We'll be back to our regular scheduled program next Wednesday. We're going to talk about salt, the dangers of salt next week. So that is it. That's what I wanted to share. It was a very emotional call this morning. We got a lot of good response back this morning. Pastor Vanessa prayed for the company this morning. She prayed over a young lady, Miss Joan, this morning. She popped in and said that, and she got emotional, and I couldn't get through the whole program without crying. But she talked about her mother's death about a year ago around this time. And it just brought back so many of those feelings for her because they say it comes in waves.
And it does.
She was having a wave this morning.
Right.
So it was just a emotional call this morning.
Right.
And I got off the call and I was boo-hooing too off the call this morning. But it's something we all have to go through, family. I'm just saying you never can prepare for that. But it's something that we all have to face at some point.
We absolutely do. We got to face it one day.
So that is it. Anybody has any questions? I know Miss Denise Nichols wasn't on this morning, but
Yeah,
I
she's
hope she
on
got
today. Yeah,
what
she's
she
on today.
missed this afternoon.
Hey, Miss Denise. We also have
Miss Annette Gay,
Gay.
glad you're here.
Miss Denise Nichols said it. She said yes. She was talking about. I believe it's called the white coat syndrome. That's exactly what
Oh
it's
yeah,
called.
it is.
Mentioned it. It's called that. That's
The
a real
white
thing.
coat syndrome. It's a real
Yeah,
thing.
it's a real thing.
Even the doctor mentioned
He
it.
said
One of
it.
the doctors
Yeah, the
mentioned that.
anesthesiologist. He said it.
He sure did.
All right.
But that's it, family. That's what we have for you today. Hope you got something out of it. I hope it gives you a little bit of a closure, but we're all in this together.
Yes, we are.
So continue to pray. Continue to love up on your family. Take your artist products and do what we need to do.
And live your best life.
And live your best life.
She said, thank you very much, my sister.
You're very, very welcome.
Anna from New York. Excellent.
All right, that'll do it, family.
Indeed. We just want to say thank you for being here and joining us, those on Facebook as well as Zoom. We appreciate you very much. You guys make it all worth it. You really do. So like she said, next week we're talking about salt. Who do you know?
And follow us on YouTube. We are on YouTube. Any program that you miss, we are there on YouTube. You can always go back and review it. You can send it out, look at it again, but we are definitely on YouTube. Who's that?
Yes, we are.
Felicia Cummings. I think it's your birthday today. Happy birthday, ma'am.
Happy birthday, Felicia. If it is, happy birthday for you.
Yes, 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 yes. But that's it, family. Want to say good night. God bless you.
And we love you.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Bye
for now.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you very much.